Hey everyone, Scott here, and we've got a religious book club flyer. Don't have a lot of time to do like a proper video right now, so I figured we'll just look through this. I've done this before. It's an idea I got from Joe St. Eggs and thought, it's fun to look through this and talk about it, and if I'm recording a video, then I'm not talking to myself. Anyways, yeah, this will be nothing too fancy, but there's Oral Roberts on the cover. Not very familiar with him. That was before my time, but I don't know. So I'm getting older. I can't always say that. Now there's things that other people younger than me will say is before their time that I'm very familiar with. So it goes. There's some different books. I tend to be more interested in like Bibles, commentaries, that kind of thing. Um, Here's some study Bibles. Of course, we got the ESV Study Bible. That's a very popular one. I use it quite a bit. I have it in Logos, and there's a print one that I usually have on my shelf that's actually Mrs. TSB's. I think it was given to her when she graduated either high school or college by her church, but it's a good broadly evangelical study Bible. It leans certain ways in some areas that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's okay. I have a lot of study Bibles that have different views on different things, which I appreciate. NAT Bible Full Notes Edition. Uh, that's a one I really enjoy. I wish the Logos edition of it was better. The first edition in Logos is well worth getting because the notes are separate, so you can use them um, when you're doing like a study on a verse. I forget what that's called in Logos. In the second edition, they just have them as footnotes to the text, so you can't just use them separately, which is really frustrating. So, but fortunately, I have a print edition around. Wiersbe Study Bible. Actually, Mrs. TSB has one of those that I got for her. I got her this leather look burgundy. It's kind of pretty. Should review that sometime. Journaling Bibles. They take up a lot of room on the shelf. And I'm sorry, I'm hand holding the camera today. I don't know where the camera arm thing is that holds the camera, so it's around here somewhere. Lamsa. I had one of these at one time. Lamsa Bible. Yeah, what is it? It's a translation based on the Aramaic of the Peshitta, which I don't remember the whole story about what that is, but it was a different text, and he did this translation based on it a long time ago. I forget what time period he did that, but yeah, I found one at a thrift store for $3, and yeah, I was gonna look into it and do a video on it. I never did. It got purged in one of my, where I send stuff back to the thrift store. It was interesting. It just wasn't really something I was going to use. It wasn't. It seemed like too maybe some of his theology kind of colored the translation I was reading online. I don't know. I can only get into so many things, look at so many things. So I decided I didn't have time for it, but was glad to have at least learned about it. Thompson Chain Reference. I just recently got one of those. Actually, it's on the shelf here near me, but it's under another book. I'm not going to try to pull it down. But the one I got is the older fourth edition, uh, printed by Kirkbride. So now, I guess Zondervan is printing these, and they've doing new layouts and everything, and kind of updating it, which is nice. I haven't used it enough to really have a strong opinion on it. The one I got is a King James version. I'll show it in another video. I don't know if that video is going to be shown before or after this one. So, First Nations version. Joe St. Eggs has talked about that. It's interesting. Some more Bibles over here. Oh, NRSV section. This looks like, yeah. So, been very frustrated a little bit by the updated edition, the NRSV UE, or the Nurse View, as I like to say. Somebody criticized my pronunciation of that elsewhere on YouTube, but I think it lends itself to being pronounced like that. I think it's a terrible acronym, so I don't think it matters because as the updated edition becomes the um, kind of the common NRSV, as more Bibles either get updated to use it or new Bibles, and then some of the ones that use the old version go out of print. I think the UE will just be the NRSV, much like we don't talk about like the old and new NIV, although a lot of us are aware. The NIV was updated in 2011, and originally it was 1984. You buy a NIV now, it's just the 2011. They don't keep telling you it's updated. So I think the same thing will happen here. But anyways, they just have not had a lot of editions. Like, how long has the updated edition been out now? And getting an updated edition in print is like, you have very limited options. I don't get it. They really do not seem to work too hard to get people to actually use it or make it available. So I don't know. They've had these Hondervan editions. They're nice, but I really want a single column, and they're not. So, you know, they came out with this Artisan Collection edition. It's just kind of, I mean, that's fine if you're into it, but it's so kind of niche, I think. It seems like they would focus on doing more uh, things that most people would want. I just isn't something I'd buy. And then it looks like the other option here, they do have a children's Bible version now, which is nice, although honestly, I don't think it'd be my choice for a child just because I'd go something with a little bit easier English, like an NLT, but anyways. So some of these are still the older NRSV, like the New Interpreters. Now the HarperCollins I just saw recently, they are going to update that later this year. I think September. And it's going to be called the SBL Study Bible. So I will probably, I just about guarantee I'll buy that unless I don't know. Probably will because I want to get an updated edition, and I've been waiting for either something I really want to like to read from, like a single column, or a good kind of academic study Bible. So that's probably what I'll do. From what I've heard, it's going to be a while before Oxford updates the NOAB. Anyways, a lot of talk about the NRSV. We got commentaries. I mostly handle through Logos now, but I do have quite a few in print still. Usually because they're expensive and I got them cheap, and I wouldn't have them otherwise, so none of those are ones that I have. Excuse me. I do have the NAC in Logos because I got a deal on that. NIV application. A lot of those are well regarded. I have a few. I know I have the Exodus volume by Pete Enns. I have some of the Ancient Christian Commentary. Those haven't been as interesting or useful to me as I thought they might be. I don't know. That is probably just me. I know there's people who really do enjoy them. So, I like the concept. I just don't end up finding myself using them that much. I have a few in Logos. Commentaries. New International Commentary. Of course, those are really well regarded, very academic. I have a few in print. I was very blessed to receive most of those for free. Most of them were ones my mother-in-law actually had from her church, had purchased for her when she was teaching Sunday school. And yeah, she passed them on to me, and Oh, they're probably pretty, I think they are pretty well over my head, a lot of them, but I keep them because they are so well regarded. And I have occasionally found something there that's been helpful. Uh, I really like, this is one of the volumes in the Tyndale commentary series. I really like the Tyndale series. I find that it's for me, it's not too introductory, but it's not too like too, I don't know, complicated. Like I don't read the biblical languages, etc. I'm not a pastor theologian. This seems to me like a good kind of blend. It's a level that I find it helpful, but not too introductory. I'm having trouble finding the right words to describe that, but anyways, um, I really like the yeah, the Bible background commentary. Have that in Logos. Those are really helpful, great information. I really like Craig Keener, and I also have the Cultural Background Study Bible, which is based on this commentary series. The only thing I might wish to see added to that would be a volume on the Apocrypha. That would be wonderful, but it stays away from theology for the most part, but it is still kind of a, I guess you could say it's a Protestant evangelical commentary, so we probably will not get an Apocrypha volume, but that would be wonderful. New Interpreters, I've got a couple of those, and then actually just recently Mamo hooked me up. He was able to find a lot of the the old Interpreters commentary at his local thrift, like almost the whole set, and he got that to me. Actually, gave it to me, which was super kind to him. Looking forward to checking those out when I get time to. More commentaries. All right, a lot of commentaries. Pastoral ministry. Well, I'm not a pastor. Well, but here's a book I read last year, A Hole in the World. I talked about that in my where I did my like final miserable offender video. Yeah, I'd like to do a video about that book and how it affected me. I actually went to, like, I never go to a like bookstore and buy a book brand new. I actually went to Barnes and Noble to buy that book new because I'd heard about it, and I listened to her on a podcast, and then I really wanted to buy this book, and I did, and I it was what I needed. Um, as some of you know, last year was kind of hard. Um, anyways, someday I'll do a video on that. Some BCPs. Of course, I got a 1662 that was also given to me by Mamo, and I know he's used that a lot. That's kind of been his go-to prayer book, I think. I'm still using the 1928 American. That's my go-to. Um, although I am considering using the 2019 traditional version more. I like some of the things it does. It's more church history. It's an area that I admit I am not as up on as I might like to be. Maybe someday. There's a book. What is it called? It's like a church history and simple language, or I forget. It's kind of it seems to be a popular level church history book. I can't think of what it's exactly called, but I kind of keep an eye out for it when I'm at the thrift stores, used bookstores, etc. I actually found a copy recently, and I was tempted to grab it, but I just know life's really busy right now, and it's just going to sit on the shelf. And if the condition was better, I would have grabbed it because it was like $3 or $4, but yeah, it wasn't in that great a shape. So I just decided to pass up on it. Return of the Prodigal Son. I read that. Well, I think that was last year as well. That was a very good book. Enjoyed that immensely, and would. It's definitely one I would like to read again. I need to go back and look at my notes on that. Maybe I should do a video about that someday. Yeah, definitely want to read more of his work. Devotionals. Yeah, I've got some of these. We've got Be Thou My Vision. Another one I'd like to do a video on. I think it's quite good. It's kind of like I don't know, might call it a BCP for Reformed evangelicals. Yeah, I like it. It gets you into some things that you don't get if you're more in the Anglican tradition with prayer books. So, yeah, I like the idea. I think it's pretty well done. Mine's just a hardcover and a slipcase, which it looks very nice, but now they have an imitation leather apparently. Valley of Vision, I've got that too. Some good prayers in there. Some different things here. Some of these I'm familiar with and have heard of. I'd like to get this On Earth as in Heaven. It's kind of a daily devotional based on the work of N.T. Wright. I really like the idea of that. And I think it's set up to start like, it kind of follows the church calendar. So it starts like around, I think he has it starting like, I don't know. It's been a while, but yeah. It's another thing where I'm like, okay, I know it's not going to happen. I don't have the time. Right now, my devotional daily, which I'm behind on, is doing I've got this Proverbs, daily readings of Proverbs by Crossway. So that's kind of the level I can do right now. And I'm like 7 days behind on it. But the nice thing is it's easy to catch up because the readings are short each day. Anyways, Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools. That's one I bought for Mrs. TSB. It was one she asked for. I think she had listened to the author on a podcast or something, and it really spoke to her, and it sounded really interesting. So, oh, that's interesting. There's a book on the Psalms by Bonhoeffer. I didn't know that. Huh. There's, again, speaking of church history and things, I would love to learn more about him, but haven't had a chance yet. There's a bunch more here. I've got a copy of Piercing Heaven, just haven't spent a lot of time with it yet. Well, this video is getting a bit long. Maybe I should try to pick up the pace, huh? Different. Oh, things here that I'm not so familiar with. Order form. For those who don't want to order on the website. Been a long time since I've ordered anything through an order form. I remember my mom doing that, especially when I was a kid, like the Sears catalog or JCPenney catalog. Things have changed a lot. I can remember when Amazon basically just sold books and CDs, so, all right, I'm starting to sound like an old man. A lot of things I'm not as familiar with. Some kind of insert. I had a copy of Timothy Ware's The Orthodox Church. Mine was a second edition. I thrifted it. I don't think I have it anymore. I would like to learn more and read more about the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church and some of the other traditions I'm less familiar with, but I've just had to really kind of limit what traditions and things I really get into because again, only so much time in a day, so I tend to focus on kind of Methodist, Anglican, evangelical, kind of the traditions I'm more familiar with or spent more time in or was part of. Yeah. but I would like to spend more time learning about others. Here we're getting pretty reformed on this page. Some stuff on Calvinism. We got Grudem. To be a Christian, an Anglican Catechism. That sounds interesting. That's one I'd like to look at sometime. I think it's kind of like the more or less the Catechism of the ACNA, perhaps. I don't know if that's officially true, but it's related to them. I'm not like a big like Reformed Christian. Like I'm not a big, but or Southern Baptist, but I do have a copy of this. I got it for free actually to review on another site, but I haven't had a chance to really look at it a lot. I keep saying that. I really just don't have a lot of time to look at things. That's why I'm flipping through this and not buying anything. But this did sound very interesting. This I think it's the newest book by John Piper. Oh, we're getting on here. This video is going to be like half an hour before we're done. But maybe somebody will enjoy reading it. Watching it. Surprised by Hope, I've mentioned before. N.T. Wright, very formative, very important book to me. Helped me. That book and just him in general, his podcast. I don't keep up with it as much now, but when I read that, his podcast came out around the same time, and I was pretty into his stuff, and he really helped me to take my Christian faith seriously and take reading the Bible seriously. So very thankful to Tom Wright for that. Been a while since I've read much C.S. Lewis, but I've read a few of his books. I am the opposite of a lot of people. I've read a bunch of his theological books, have not read any of his fiction. So I've read like The Problem of Pain, The Screwtape Letters, Mere Christianity, The Great Divorce. But yeah, I'm not familiar with his fiction, so got Issues in Ethics. I read Preston Sprinkle's Embodied last year. I like Preston Sprinkle. I think he's someone that on the topics that he covers, there's probably people on both sides who either appreciate him or take issue with him. That's true of a lot of people, but I think he tries to. I feel like he really does try to be fair, to be open, to talk to people with different perspectives. I enjoy listening to him and getting his view on things and the views of some of the people he talks to. I find it very helpful. So he's one that I follow pretty closely, as much as I'm able. Robert Alter's Hebrew Bible. It's great. Read a few of the books in that. $93. I got this for $60 at a time when it was being really discounted, which was nice. So I've also got the Art of Bible Translation. I've read that, and then I've got another book of his. I can't think of the name of it. That a friend sent. It's the one that they use a lot, like in seminary and stuff. But yeah, I like Robert Alter's work. I like the kind of way he brings the things. So New Testament studies. Some more N.T. Wright. I've got the New Testament in its world. Kind of like I say, it's a one-volume summary of Wright's thinking, kind of an introduction to the New Testament. Yeah. Looked at a little bit of it. Just, would like to spend more time with it. or N.T. Wright. I've had to really, well, obviously, I mean, you guys, a lot of you know, I'm a father now, so obviously having a kid, that keeps you busy. There's other things going on too, but my career is also like I've had to really ramp up the attention I pay to my career, which is good. Uh, I feel very fortunate to do what I do. It fits me well. I work as a software developer, but yeah, that takes up a good bit of time too. So between work and being a father and a husband and making time for the Lord and keeping up a house, keep pretty busy these days. So Jesus through Middle Eastern Eyes, I've heard good things about that. I have a friend who's recommended that to me. I've got short stories by Jesus around here somewhere. I like it's Amy Jill Levine. I like her. I think she brings an interesting perspective on things. I wouldn't say like, do I know that I agree with everything she says, or I don't know, but it's interesting, and I enjoy listening to her on podcasts. So Mrs. TSB's read some of that one. I haven't myself, but I've listened to several podcasts with her. She's also, she was involved with the Jewish New Testament from Oxford and other things. She's a professor on the New Testament who is Jewish. She brings an interesting perspective. I've heard of this NRSV St. John's Bible. It's supposed to be very pretty and I guess work of art. It's very expensive, so I guess I won't know myself. I don't think it's something I would be so into, but it's unique. Kids' Bibles. We've got a couple kind of children's Bibles for our son, which is nice that people have gifted us. It says Hebrew and Greek. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to learn some biblical Greek, but maybe I will someday more so. But yeah, it's just one of those things again that you got to kind of set some limits sometimes what you can do and what you can make time for. So, oh well. I've read Gentle and Lowly, enjoyed that. Catechism of the Catholic Church. I had one of those at one time. I was just curious about trying to learn a bit more about Catholicism, but again, so much time in a day. So, NKJV Evangelical Study Bible. It's one I have not heard of. I have an NKJV Study Bible I quite like. All right, well, hey, we're at over 28 minutes, so I think that's enough of that. Anyways, if you made it through the whole video, well, I hope you really found it interesting or helpful. Gave me a chance to look through this and share something with the folks who watch my channel, and appreciate you hanging out. If you have anything you'd like to share about anything you saw, please do so in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of these things. And hey, as always, God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for the next one, friends.